everybody, welcome to Bunky's Workshop. I am Bunky. I just got done making a video for you guys when bam, another package arrived, and this one for me is exciting. Let's take a look. Well, this is exciting for me. I don't know about the rest of you out there. I know there might be a couple. But we're going to find out. Oh. Here we go. You guys ready? Whoa! What do you think? This is the Zojirushi Home Bakery System. Makes up to 2 pounds of bread. Now you know I've already made a video or two of my other bread machine, the West Bend, and I like it and I do use it. But there's this lady, and when I get her information, I didn't think about it when I started making this video, but there's this lady that I've been watching, and she has been making bread for a very long time, and she has 3 of these, and she has tried other bread machines. And she swears by this thing. And the more and more I watch her videos, I understand why she switched over. And I'm not saying the West Bend is bad. I've been using it and I've been happy with it until I saw this video of this lady. And I was like, wow. So it's kind of like when you start cooking and you just use everyday, utensils and stuff. And then you say, oh, that's what a chef knife is. Oh, that's what a poultry scissors are. You start realizing and learning and growing within cooking. Same thing with me with the bread. I saw an individual doing the video on a bread machine. I'm like, wow, I want to try that. So I bought it. Hey, girl. And I've been liking it. And then, and then I noticed, again, this video with this lady. And I'll probably bring up on my phone if I can find her, and I'll let you know during this video. She's very sweet, very kind lady, and tons of recipes and ideas, and it's just endless. So anyways, let's get this thing out of the box and take a look at it. It's just, the West Bend does a great job. Can't be disappointed in it. But then when you realize that there's another bread maker out there that does even more, you kind of like, well, now I want that one. It's kind of like you buy one car and then you realize, oh, I like this one, but wow, that one does something, bells and whistles, people. So here we go. So first thing out of the box, put my glasses on. We have the paddles. Dough paddles, 2 of them, non-stick. Very nice. There you go. 2 of them, metal. Okay, let's not lose them. When I bought the West Bend, it didn't come with the paddles. I called the company and said, hey, need paddles to use this thing, right? And they're like, oh, sorry, and they shipped me some paddles. So let's see how I'm going to get this thing out of here. Well, first of all, owner's manual and recipe book. Now, here's something that's different. The West Bend comes with an owner's manual and a recipe book. And it's about this big. And it's great. This thing actually comes with a full-size color recipe book. And she kept talking about this book and showing it to me. And I love the recipes in here. But there you go. And this is the Plus Zojirushi Zojirushi. Here we go. And it is the Home Baker Plus BB-PDC20. B as in boy, B as in boy, P as in Paul, D as in David, C as in cat, 20. There you go. So there are different models. I believe there's one model below this one. But all kinds of recipes and things inside. See, it's large print and in color. Little things make us happy nowadays, right? And then what's this? So this is the owner's manual, which I'm sure I'll be reading on how to operate it. What's this? Oh, okay, I definitely need to fill this out and send it in and register it. That'll be it. And then what's this one? So did they send me 2 books? Did I get lucky and get 2? Well, I'll be darned. I got 2 of them. Let's make sure they're the same. Well, no, they're not. Okay, now I see why. So one is in English and one is in multiple languages. That's why there's 2. So that you can be bilingual. All right. So let's see if I can get this thing out. Ooh, this thing is much bigger. Ooh, and heavier than the West Bend, that's for sure. That thing has got some weight to it. That's a machine. Wow. So let me turn this to an angle so we all can see it. Automatic 2-pound bread maker. Various healthy course settings. Now on here it says course, just means program, okay? Different things. Okay. Take the tape off. Ooh. Now, before I get started in here, so the West Bend. Difference between the West Bend and this. West Bend has a heating element in the bottom that goes around the bottom of the bread pan. And it cooks from the bottom up. And of course the heat goes up into the dome. And it cooks it. Does great. Only thing different between that and this has a heating element in the bottom underneath the bread pan. And also up in this lid has a heating element. So it's cooking it from top and bottom at the same time. I didn't think it meant anything until, as I make my bread, I was turning the setting down to light or medium crust, because what it was doing is, because it's cooking from the bottom, by the time the top gets cooked, the bottom is already getting hard. So it's a picky thing. I've been totally happy with that machine, and so I saw this. Isn't that stupid? If I never would have saw this, I'd have still been using that. I'm still going to use it. I like it. So I can do one thing of bread in that one and one thing of bread in this one. So there's one difference. West Bend, one heating element in the bottom. and I'm going to have a hard time saying this. The Zojirushi has one in the bottom and one up here built in the lid. Okay? So this comes with a set of measuring cups, which I kind of do need. My other ones are wore out. Now here's what I found out with baking, people. When you are making bread, when you're baking, measuring is a must. It must be accurate. So buy yourself a scale that'll go in grams, and you weigh out your liquids and your solids, your flour, your water, your milk, your butter, whatever it is. If you want your bread really to turn out, measuring is very important, okay? I found out the hard way. I was just, 4 cups, threw in 4 cups, but the bread loaves were not consistent. One was great, the next one was kind of and one was dry, and I was like, what is wrong? And then again, I was watching a lot of these videos and a lot of these professional bakers, and they all stress the same thing. It's like a science project. You must measure everything out precisely. So when it says 4 cups, you don't do 4 cups, you weigh it out. I think, if I remember correctly, like 4 cups of flour was 480 grams, something like that. Look it up. But yeah, so I did it one time in the West Bend bread maker, and I weighed everything out, and it turned out perfect. So take the time, weigh it out. It's easy. So and you get a liquid measuring cup. Zojirushi. I'm gonna have to get used to that name. And you get a multi-purpose measuring spoon. Okay. Now, here's something else that I liked. The West Bend has a metal handle that lays down flat in here, and you have to reach in while it's hot, pull it up, and then pull the pan out. I burnt my fingers a couple times trying to get that thing out. Now, they do give you a little metal hook so that you can reach in there and hook it and pull it out. It also, you can pull your paddles out with it as well. Us guys, we're hard-headed. I don't know how many times I've forgotten I had that thing on the counter for me to use, and I just burnt my fingers. So this you're going to use, of course, pot holders or something to burn yourself, but you see here, it has actual handles that stick up, and the whole thing comes out. Look at that. That is nice. So it does have, on the left and right, very sturdy handles. That will be very, very nice. Now, I need to read in the book, because this video that I've been watching of this young lady said, never, never, never put this in water. Now, I've been doing that on my West Bend with no problems. For what I understand, and I'm going to have to read in the book to make sure, she said she had ruined hers because at the bottom, you see you got these that connects the paddles. They have bearings in there. And from what I understand, because she had been washing it and soaking it and submerging it in water, eventually those bearings froze up on her, and she had to buy a new pan. So now she removes her bread when it's done cooking and immediately cleans out the inside, and she washes the inside, but does not get the rest of it wet. Again, I'm going to read the manual and just make sure. But that is nice. Now inside, you can see down at the bottom, it has the heating elements. And again, this is a very heavy lid. And in the lid is a built-in heating element. So again, you're cooking the bread from the bottom and the top all together compared to just at the bottom. And then, of course, over here, you have your screen and the buttons. Let me turn this around just a little bit. Crust control, home button, timer, course selection, cycle selection, timing setting, sound, beep setting, cancel and start. And on the front here, if you can see this, it tells you the number and the course of what it is. So it goes from 1 to 15. The first one is for your basic white bread. Number 2 is whole wheat bread. Number 3 is European bread. 4 is multi-grain. 5 is gluten-free. 6 is salt-free. 7, sugar-free. 8 is vegan. 9 is rapid white. 10, rapid whole wheat. 11 is dough only. 12, sourdough bread starter. 13 is cakes. And 14 is jams. 15 is homemade memory. So 15 is one where you can go in and program to make your own program for your own loaf of bread. So if you want to make your own recipe, you can program it in here to tell it what you want it to do. So, dual heaters. Again, I told you about that. 1 in the bottom, 1 in the lid. 3 homemade memory settings. I told you about that. You can make your own settings for your own recipes. Convenient 12-hour clock with 13-hour delay timer. Double kneading blades. They call them blades. I call them hooks. I don't know why, but I call them dough hooks. Full color recipe booklet, liquid measuring cup, nested measuring cups and measuring spoons are included. BP free. That's a good thing. Makes up to 2 pounds. Now there's the difference. The West Bend bread maker can make up to a 3-pound loaf. And I did that once, and that is one massive piece of bread or loaf. I never did eat all of it. I couldn't. I always do a 2-pound loaf in that thing. So that's the difference. The West Bend will make a 3-pound loaf. This will only do a maximum of a 2-pound. So if size matters to you, I guess do two 2-pound loaves in here, and you'll have 4 pounds of bread versus 1 3-pound. I mean, if you want to look at it that way. But it is in a very nice metal gray and black. In the top does have a viewing window so you can see inside. Man, it is heavy though. Oh my God. On the back, it is completely vented. So I must say, this has more programs than the West Bend. This has dual heaters than the West Bend. However, the West Bend is smaller and lighter. So if you need something that is lightweight and more compact, the West Bend is for you. This thing is heavy and it is big compared to the West Bend. The West Bend, the lid opens long ways to where this opens sideways. Yeah, because the West Bend goes this way and this goes this way. So, oh, and another thing is the West Bend, you can open and close the lid all you want. It doesn't care. This one, from what I understand, if you open the lid, it shuts off and restarts when you close the lid. So if you want to peek in there and look at what it's doing, you have to do it through the window. You can't just open the lid and look because it'll stop. I had fun with the West Bend because I like just open the lid, sniffing it, looking at it, that kind of thing. But because sometimes, depending on the season of when you're making your bread, that makes a difference. So if it's a hot, muggy summer day, more moisture is going to be in your bread versus the winter where it might be cold and dry. Less moisture will be in your bread. So you might have to, I've done it twice now, of all the loaves of bread I've made, I've had to do it twice where I had to adjust either my liquid or my flour, because you really want your dough to be kind of spongy, tacky, but not sticky. And when I start making some more videos, now that I'm a little more comfortable of making bread, I will explain that to you, because I did mess up a few loaves. One, I was using standard measuring, like my either the milk, whatever the liquids were, I was using a regular glass liquid measuring cup, and they're just not accurate. The same thing with my flour. If it said 4 cups of flour, I'd just scoop 4 cups and throw it in there. Well, if your water is off, and your flour is off, and your oil and everything else is off, your bread can turn out and it'll be okay, but you never are consistent because your measurings aren't consistent. So I know I'm repeating myself, but buy yourself a scale. They're not that expensive, $12 to $15. And when it says 4 cups of flour, in my book, it has the cups. It'll say like 4 cups of flour or X amount of grams. And I just do everything by grams. You know, I measure everything out on my scale. I get all my ingredients out. I measure everything out, get it ready. And then in a machine bread maker, the West Bend and this one, you always start off with your liquids first. So if it's oil, water, milk, all that kind of stuff, liquids go in first, then your dry ingredients. And here's something, 2 things, and I'm going through a lot right now, but never, 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 never allow your yeast to come in contact with your salt. Salt will stop it from blooming. It needs to come together gently and on time. So yeast needs warmth and moisture to bloom or to grow. So, and I made my mistake on my first couple of loaves. I just couldn't figure out why they were kind of strange looking. They were edible and they were okay, but I'm like, why didn't I have this great big beautiful loaf of bread? Well, I did put my liquids in the bottom, and I put everything in there. But when I put in my my salt, my sugar, and my yeast, I threw it right on top. So all 3 kind of mixed together at the very beginning, and the salt kind of hinders, if you will, the yeast from actually blooming properly. So what I learned to do, and I found out this lady, and I'll try to look her up online and give her to you. She does the same thing I do. You put in your liquids, you put in your flour. On the left side, I put my salt. On the right side, I put my sugar. And you dig a hole down in the middle of your flour and you put your yeast. So everything is kind of separated inside until it's ready to be blended together. That's that. The next part why I really, really wanted this machine, the West Bend, your water has to be at I think it has to be 80 degrees. I have it, it's in the book. But your liquid, your water or your milk, whatever you need to be, needs to be at a certain temperature, okay? So that when your liquids hit the yeast, it will bloom, it will rise, it activates your yeast. It needs that moisture and warmth to activate. Well, it can't be too cold because it won't activate. If it's too hot, it will kill your yeast. So it's a trick to play. So I would put, let's say I'm doing water, and it says you need 1 cup of water, and the water has to be at 80 degrees. Well, I would put the water in, take my temperature, my thermometer, get it to 80 degrees, right? Pour that in. Get everything in here. Well, by time that water hits the metal pan, and by time you get all the ingredients in, well, that water is no longer 80 degrees. It's cooled down. So this has a setting. So when it goes to cook the bread, it has a preheat. So you put everything in. You don't have to check the temperature. You just put everything in here, and when you turn it on, the first thing it does is heat it up to the exact temperature it needs. Then it starts to knead and make your bread. It does it for you. So it takes that guesswork out of the West Bend. So it's a little thing. Does a West Bend work? Yes, but you have to do a little bit more work, I guess, to make it perfect. So the West Bend, you have to make sure that your liquids are at temperature. It's in the book. It'll explain it to you. If you're reading your book for the West Bend, it explains it to you in there clearly what temperature it needs to be. So if you weigh out your liquid and have it at the right temperature, it's perfect. I've been doing it and I've been fine with it, and I had nothing to complain about until I found out about this. And I'm like, no way! So there's the difference. Anyways, I'm waffling on. Waffling. Where did I get that from? Oh, Vintage Emporium. All right. If you go on his website, he does vacuum cleaners and stuff. Same thing I do, but he's a professional with vacuum cleaners. And he calls it waffling. And I believe Hooverlux says waffling. That's a UK thing, I believe. Anyway, so there we go. It's a beauty. So I'm going to give it a try. I will try to bring you along as well. And we'll have some fun making some bread. Because the one thing is, let me grab that for you. Hold on. Sit tight. Ugh. Oh my goodness, this thing's heavy too. I got my phone. I'm going to try to give you some more information. So let's see if I can get this thing turned around so you can see it. There you go. Those of you out there that have to eat gluten-free. Now, you know, Matthew, my husband, he has celiac, so he cannot eat any gluten. No wheat, barley, rye, none of that. So when I cook, everything has to be gluten-free. Poor boy can't eat a lot of stuff because breads, you know, toast, all that kind of stuff has gluten in it, has flour. The West Bend and this has a setting so that you can make gluten-free dough or bread. Everything I've tried, it turns out okay, but it's not like regular bread. Oh, now I got the hiccups. Sorry. Gluten-free bread just is different. It doesn't turn out soft. And I mean, the texture is different. It's just, anyway, different. Those of you out there that are gluten-free know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to bring you a product. And this product I found out from this lady, and I might as well just look her up so that you guys will know. And I'll try to put it in the description. But she's wonderful, I'm telling you. Great sense of humor, lots and lots and lots of knowledge. She has 3 of these in her kitchen. And she makes hamburger rolls, hot dog rolls, Jewish bread, white bread, cinnamon raisin bread, rolls. She makes everything. So let me see if I can find her. And, oops. Where is it at? I just was watching one of her videos this morning on how she does. She was making just regular dough in the machine and pulling it out before it bakes it. And let's see. There we go. So, let's see if you guys can see this. I guess not. It blurs it out. Okay, anyways, it says bread machine and baking videos with Ellen Hoffman. So it's Ellen, E-L-L-E-N, Hoffman, H-O-F-F-M-A-N. And what a wonderful YouTube video creator she is. But if you want to learn right along with me, that's the lady that I've been going with. And again, she has 3 of these. So, and her husband is the videographer, and some of the things that happens is just wonderful. So, let me pop this down. Oh my gosh. So those of you out there that are celiac or have to be gluten-free, here is your saver. Do you see this? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Fiorglut, F-I-O-R-E-G-L-U-T. Now, it is a gluten-free bread mix. Caputo, 1924, Italy. This is what the professionals use. Like if you ever go to a restaurant, a high-end restaurant or a bakery, and you get a gluten-free muffin or something, you're like, wow, that is really, really good. They'll never tell you how they made it. But yet everything you buy at the regular stores, you buy and you try, and it just never works. This stuff, you can get it on Amazon and order it now. Is it pricey? It's pricey. But it is so worth it. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. This has everything blended together. You don't have to worry about it. You use it just like regular flour. And in this machine, now I haven't used this in the West Bend yet. I've used this other ways. But if you want to make gluten-free, the lady that turned me onto it was the one I just told you about, Ellen. Her friend is celiac and gluten-free, and she has a video to where she makes 3 loaves of bread. She makes a Jewish bread, cinnamon raisin bread, and regular white bread, and they turn out perfect. And the poor lady that celiac disease there, her friend, was like flipping out like, this is the best stuff ever. And it is, because it's so good. So again, those of you that are gluten-free or celiac, for whatever the reason may be, you have people that are celiac that are allergic to gluten, and then you have some people that do it for a dietary, either to lose weight or whatever it may be. This stuff, maybe I should just get it out of the box. I'm trying to show you a box. You probably would like to see what it looks like. So this is one big bag. You can get smaller bags of this. Come on, Gidget. Move out the way so they can see it. That's what it looks like. Caputo from Italy. And it's good stuff. Give it a try. And if you really want to know how to use this stuff, like I said, go on Ellen's YouTube video, her site, and she has videos on there on using this as well. Okay, I want to make some bread. Ooh. Anyway, can't wait. So it does say on here, for all your baking needs, pizza, breads, baking goods, and more. And it has recipes on the side. Made in Italy, as you can see right there. Made in Italy. Some good stuff made by the professionals. 0 fat, 0 saturated, 0 trans, 0 cholesterol. 5 grams of sodium. 2 grams of dietary fiber. 1 gram of sugar. 4 grams of calcium. That's it. Anyway, there it is. Hope I didn't hold you guys up for too long. Thanks for coming along. I'll be talking to you soon. Happy baking out there. Let's learn together, okay? Be talking to you soon. Have a great day. Be kind to one another. Out, out, out.